Okay, so let's talk about moving around the kitchen when you're dealing with sciatica pain. Now, oftentimes when you're walking and moving around the kitchen, a couple things come to mind is the concept of having to bend over when you're getting, say, pots and pans from the bottom, also reaching up the top if you're trying to get some plates up in the area as well. And then also that just means changing position from cutting, cooking, and just moving around the kitchen itself. And so a couple things to consider when you're doing all these is being very conscious of your movement. Now, you don't necessarily have to be very stiff and scared, but when I say being conscious of your movement, that means that you want to make sure that your shoulders and your hips are moving together versus having your shoulders move independent of your hips. And so, for example, if I'm here, say, cutting my vegetables and I need to move on to the other aspect, instead of me just twisting my body, causing some shear force in my low back, I'm actually going to be rotating my entire body, pivoting on my feet. Another area that I would actually suggest you look into is actually have some floor mats in the spaces that you're actually going to be spending a fair amount of time. That way you're going to take the strain off of your feet and your back and allows you to feel a little bit better. Another thing to think about is that when you are, say, reaching down into an area below the level of your hips, feel free to get down and actually drive your hips out when you're picking something out of the bottom drawer rather than letting yourself round like this. Also trying to avoid this excessive arch where in some cases people can have problems. And then when you are reaching up overhead, say grabbing some spices, you want to make sure that as you lean, try to avoid sticking your butt out too far. One of the things that I actually like to do when I'm reaching forward is I like to pull my ribs down as I reach for an object. And that actually allows me to build up a little bit more stability in my core, minimizing the opportunities to have a shear force occurring at my back. And that's how I actually get around the kitchen with minimal pain or no pain at all.